You've tried to save money before, maybe many times. You set a goal. You told yourself this time would be different. You made a budget. You committed. And for a while, it worked. A week, maybe 2. And then something happened. An unexpected expense, a bad day, a moment of weakness, and the savings disappeared. And you told yourself the same thing you always tell yourself. I just don't have enough discipline. I'm bad with money. Maybe saving just isn't for me. But here's what's actually true. The problem is not your discipline. The problem is not your character. The problem is not who you are. The problem is the system you're using. Or more accurately, the system you're not using. Because saving money through willpower alone has never worked. Not for you, not for anyone, not consistently, not long term. And this video is going to show you why, and what actually does work. Let's start with the science. Willpower is a resource, like physical energy, like mental focus. It depletes. Throughout the day, every decision you make, every temptation you resist, every choice you navigate, uses a portion of your willpower. And by the end of the day, or the end of the week, or the end of a stressful month, that resource is nearly empty. And when willpower is empty, the default behavior takes over. The path of least resistance. The comfortable choice. The thing you've always done. For most people, that default is spending, not saving. Spending feels good. Spending is immediate. Spending provides relief. Saving feels like sacrifice. Saving is delayed. Saving provides no immediate reward. So when willpower runs out, spending wins. Every time. Not because you're weak, because you're human. And here's what this means for your savings plan. Any savings plan that relies on you making the right decision every day, under all conditions, with varying levels of energy and stress, is already designed to fail. Not eventually. Immediately. The moment conditions aren't perfect. Let's look at real data. Studies show that people who rely on willpower to save on average 2.4% of their income. People who automate their savings save on average 8.1% of their income. Same income, 3 times the savings rate, just from removing the decision. Here's what that means in real numbers. Person A earns $4,000 a month, relies on willpower, saves 2.4%. That's $96 a month, $1,152 a year. Over 10 years at 8% return, $17,384. Person B earns the same $4,000. Automates savings, saves 8.1%. That's $324 a month, $3,888 a year. Over 10 years at 8% return, $58,697. Same income, same 10 years, $41,313 difference. From one change, removing the decision, making it automatic. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between having something real and having almost nothing from the same paycheck. First objection. I understand what you're saying. But I feel like if I just tried harder, I could save consistently. Maybe I just need more discipline. And I respect that feeling, the desire to be better, to do more, to try harder. But here's what the research consistently shows. Discipline is not a character trait. It's a resource. And resources run out. The people who appear most disciplined are not necessarily stronger-willed. They've simply built better systems. Systems that don't require discipline to maintain. They don't resist the temptation to spend their savings, because the savings left the account before temptation arrived. They don't make the decision to save every month, because the decision was made once and then automated. The discipline isn't in the daily choice, it's in the one-time setup. Set it up once, and discipline becomes irrelevant, because the system doesn't need your willpower, it just runs. Here are the 3 actual reasons most people can't save, not the ones they tell themselves, the real ones. Reason 1: the money is visible. When savings sit in the same account as spending money, it gets spent. Not through carelessness, through availability. The brain sees available money as spendable money, even if it's mentally designated for savings. The solution is separation. Money you can't easily see and can't easily access gets spent far less frequently. Out of sight genuinely means out of mind. Reason 2: the decision happens at the wrong time. Most people decide to save after they've already spent. They pay their bills, cover their expenses, buy what they need, and then look at what's left and save that. Except there's almost never anything left, because spending expands to fill available money. The decision to save needs to happen first, before any spending. The moment income arrives, automatically, non-negotiably. Reason 3: the goal is too vague. I want to save more is not a goal, it's a wish. A goal has a number, a timeline, a specific account, a specific transfer date. I will transfer $200 to my savings account on the 1st of every month automatically. That's a goal. And vague wishes almost never become real behaviors. Specific systems always do. Second objection: if I automate everything, I lose flexibility. What if I need that money? What if something unexpected comes up? And this is a legitimate concern. Life is unpredictable. Unexpected expenses are real. Flexibility matters. But here's the distinction. Automating savings doesn't mean locking money away forever. It means creating intentional friction, a small barrier between the impulse to spend and the ability to spend your savings. The money is still accessible, it's just not instantly available. And that small delay, that moment of friction, is enough to prevent most impulsive spending, while still allowing genuine emergencies to be handled. The key is structure. 3 accounts. 1 for daily spending. 1 for savings and investment. 1 for genuine emergencies only. Each one separate. Each one with a specific purpose. And the transfers between them happen automatically. On a schedule, before spending begins. That's not losing control. That's the most controlled financial structure most people will ever have. Here's the system that actually works. Not in theory, in practice, for real people, with real incomes and real expenses. Step 1. The day your income arrives, an automatic transfer moves a fixed percentage, not whatever is left. A fixed percentage, decided in advance, regardless of what happened that month. Start with whatever is genuinely possible. 10% is ideal. 5% is fine. Even 3% is a start. The percentage matters less than the automation. Step 2. The savings account is at a different bank. Not a different account at the same bank. A different institution. With no debit card attached. No instant transfer option. Moving money from this account requires a deliberate action. Takes 2 to 3 business days. That friction prevents almost all impulsive access. Step 3. The emergency fund is separate from the savings account. 3 months of expenses. In a high-yield account, accessible within 24 hours if genuinely needed, but clearly designated, clearly labeled, emergency only. Not, I really want this, emergency. These 3 steps, set up once, running automatically, change the savings rate permanently, without requiring daily discipline, without requiring willpower, without requiring you to be a different person, just a different system. Last objection. I've set up savings systems before. They work for a month. Then I cancel the transfer when money gets tight, and never restart. And this is the most honest objection of all, because it's true for most people. Systems get canceled, especially when life gets hard, and life always gets hard eventually. But here's what makes the difference. The systems that get canceled are usually systems that were too ambitious, too large a transfer, too aggressive a goal, too much sacrifice too quickly. When the first difficult month arrives, the sacrifice feels unsustainable, and it gets canceled. The systems that survive start smaller than feels necessary. $50 a month when you could do $200. $100 when you could do $300. Small enough that canceling feels unnecessary. Small enough to survive a difficult month, and then grow. Slowly, as the habit solidifies, as the identity shifts, as saving becomes not a sacrifice, but just what you do. The system that lasts is the one small enough to start and consistent enough to compound. 3 actions. Today. Not this week. Today. Action 1. Open a savings account at a different bank, right now. Before this video ends, it takes 10 minutes. Most online banks open accounts instantly. No minimum balance required. Just open it. Action 2. Set up an automatic transfer from your main account to the new account. On the day after your next paycheck, whatever amount feels sustainable. $30, $50, $100. The amount is secondary. The automation is everything. Action 3. Do not touch it for 90 days. Not for anything. Not for just this once. Not for a good deal. Not for an unexpected expense that isn't genuinely an emergency. 90 days. That's how long it takes for a behavior to become a habit. 90 days of the system running, and you'll stop thinking about it as a sacrifice. It will just be how your money moves, automatically, without a decision being made, every single month. Here's the real reason you can't save money. Not discipline, not character, not income. The system. You've been trying to save, using a method that requires you to be perfect, every day, under all conditions, with varying energy and stress. And perfect is impossible. So the system fails. Every time. The fix is not to become more disciplined. The fix is to build a system. That doesn't need your discipline. That runs while you sleep. That saves while you spend. That builds while life happens around it. Automated, separated, consistent. That system doesn't care if you had a bad week, doesn't care if you're stressed, doesn't care if willpower is low. It just runs. And running systems build real savings. Every time. Without exception. The real reason you can't save is that you're relying on yourself instead of a system. Build the system. Let it run. The decision is yours.